Gonna lie to you, we gonna have to postpone this once again because it's too much, and I think we have to use a different software because it's gonna keep if it's gonna keep shutting down. Like we're gonna keep talking for another 15 minutes to see if it's gonna do it, and if it shuts down again, see what I mean? Like after that, it's pretty much career and passion. Oh yeah, I was explaining the passion part. So the passion part. Look at what whatchamacallit did. So it was him doing it way before we were born, right? Not having a chance because it was what he would describe as saying, well, I didn't really know what I was doing, this, that, and the third. And then him kind of like not giving up, but, letting that. I don't know what that alarm was for.
Okay.
But pretty much letting his little dream lie dormant. And then he decided to do it again, spur of the moment type of thing, and tries to, once we got interested in music, tries to get us to do it. So he's pushing his dream onto us to try to salvage,
What he had left.
what he had
Right.
left. So you see the person versus self where, oh, I might not make it. So let me just kind of cool out for a second. And then him being like, okay, my kids are getting started with it. I'm going to try to push that on them and get them into the studio and try to do everything that I've been trying to do, and being overly motivated, which is idolizing money, which he shouldn't have done.
Mm.
Idolizing his dream was what he shouldn't have done. So when we quit music, it was like, okay, I made all these connections, so I'm just gonna do it by myself. So I'm gonna redo everything that I've tried to do in my 20s and my 30s. Now I'm here in my late 40s and 50s and 60s. Let me try to rebuild what I couldn't. So now it's a dish effort to kind of salvage what he couldn't do in the beginning.
So it's definitely more like in the sense of, when you're so wrapped up in, something that you want so badly, you don't see how that affects the people around you, especially your kids, when you try to force.
So we can infer that bro's mental health was like, there was a mix of disappointment there, because it's like self pity of, why wasn't I able to do this? And also blaming his circumstances, like, well, I didn't have a mentor, I didn't have anybody to teach me, I didn't have, he didn't say it, but to me, he didn't have the motivation to keep carrying on. And that's understandable, the motivation part at least, because you can wake up one day and say, I'm gonna get all of this done, I'm gonna start a business, I'm gonna get grants, I'm gonna do this. And then you go into it, you actually do the process of everything, and one or two minor things happen, and it's like, okay, I don't want to do this no more because this is harder than I thought. And that was kind of probably what he had to go through, that person versus self of, I don't think I'm capable of doing this because of this minor thing that's stopping me from getting to my dream. So we want to go into people like our mom, and I'm trying not to go too deep in it because it's her business. But she claims that she's not a workaholic, but she's a workaholic because I that's where I get that from. Like when it comes to being social and doing and going out and partying and drinking or whatever, just going out and having fun, I would rather work. At least that was my thinking a couple years ago because I'm trying to slow down on that. But I'm also, trying to build a business, a couple businesses. So it's like I would rather do my business than to um, go out or go to work, go to my part time, or do anything else. So she say that isn't a workaholic, but I'm her direct mirror. I'm literally who she is. So it's like you know you're a workaholic because I'm going through exactly the same thing you're going through. So it's like with her, I feel like she compromised a lot of who she wanted to be because she wanted to be a business owner. She wanted to be an entrepreneur. When back then, I don't know the specific date or year or how old she was, but before our grandmother passed away, that's what she wanted to do. She went to school for it, business administration. That's what she wanted to do. But going into healthcare and having kids and settling down and having that dynamic and building that kind of probably derailed her into the mindset of I have to work to support all of the things that I have now. And certain things along the way derailed, you know, her stability, in which that's probably why she picked up so many hours. She's always working because she's used to it now. And it's nothing to her now. Um, so I feel like her mental has shifted from okay, I'm hopeful about my future in being a business owner to meeting a guy, starting a family, settling down to like, okay, this kind of changed the game here. So why and I wonder, I mean, she says it all the time, but it's like if there was a way out, if I offered her $10,000 to start a business, would she do it? Or would she stay where she's at? And I should ask her that question. If I offered you money right now to start a business, whatever business that you wanted to, would you take it and start it and go through that process like the rest of us did, or would you be like, I'm comfortable where I'm at, even though I hate where I'm at? It's it, it's keeping me stable right now, which is like, which is pretty much saying, would you step out on faith or will you stay at your comfort? But no judgment.
I think she would probably joke about it for a good second, but there really is no telling where she would go with it. Maybe if she knew that we would help her, and we probably would help her, she probably would take the chance. But if we're just giving her the money and just, throwing it out and say, you're on your own, do this yourself, then she probably wouldn't do it. She probably would just, I'm not saying she would take the money. No, she probably wouldn't take the money. She would probably just say, no, keep the money. I'm fine with where I am. But if we would help her and, stick with her with it, I think she probably would take that chance. Partially the reason why she didn't really want to do it herself is because she went into the whole business thing with her mom, and when her mom passed, I think that same year she got married to dad, she didn't do it. And I think that whole strenuous cycle where, you know, I have to work to provide for my family. She probably got that from her dad, because she told me herself that though Papa was a good dad, you know, he always made sure they were, you know, had a roof over their head and made sure they were protected. He was not really home all the time, and when he was asleep because he worked numerous jobs, crazy hours. And she told me, like, whenever, you know, she did something he didn't like, he would tell her mom and she would tell her and she'd fix it, and that would be the end of it. So that kind of dynamic that she's known all this time, basically she's, I'm not going to say shifted, she basically, you know, used that as a template for what we have in this family dynamic, which isn't exactly healthy, honestly. I do wish, like, if the situation was different, if he was home a lot more, then maybe she would, you know, maybe her thought process would be a lot different in how she, you know, runs her life. She wouldn't, you know, let her job run her life. So I kind of understand that, because, you know, Papa, he is a wonderful man. He is a wonderful man, and he will provide for his family no matter what, even if he's sick, and we'll always take care of him. But I do feel that if the situation was different, if the, you know, if he was home a lot more and she saw more of, you know, how, you know, a father should be to his kids, she, you know, her thought process would be a lot different, and how the household now is ran.
Yeah, for sure.